So this is the first in our series of Pilates warm-up for runners. We're going to start this warm-up in standing and focus today mostly on our balance, our posture and our form for running to help us get going for our running workout. So we're going to start, as we said, on standing. Take your shoes off to give yourself a little bit of feedback, allowing your foot to touch the ground or touch your mat, and also to challenge your balance a little bit more with our shoes off. So we're going to start with our legs hip width apart. So you're going to take your heels apart and then your toes apart. And then before we begin any movements, let's have a little think about our posture. So if you can lean forwards and backwards through the sole of your foot, bringing weight to the toes and the ball of the foot and back to the heels again. And just settle in between those two positions. Just settle about halfway between those two positions. Then we want to allow our knees to just relax. We want to keep our knees soft and never over or hyper extended. So, and that's the same for when we're running. So we want to keep the knees nice and soft all the time. Come onto our pelvis then, really important when we're running. When we land on one foot is that our pelvis remains level, so that we don't hit the ground with the pelvis dipping down like this on one side. As you can see what happens to the rest of my lower limb when I do that. My knee rolls in, my ankle rolls in. So we're trying to keep that lovely level pelvis throughout our warm-up and throughout our run. And we also want to find neutral as well if we can. So just take a moment to tip your pelvis forwards and downwards. Let's bring it all the way backwards and settle about halfway between those 2 points. But most importantly really is just to keep it level. And think about opening our collarbones, growing a little bit taller through the head and neck. Again, when you're running, if we're sort of rounding forward, we're just going to slow ourselves down. So let's try and stay up tall, keep your head up. Even when you feel really fatigued, try and keep the head right up and the shoulders open wide. Take our hands onto our hip bones then, and we'll start around the foot and ankle. Let's start warming up our calves and our Achilles and all the muscles around the ankle and knee joints. We're going to lift our heels and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. So take your time with this, just getting all the blood flowing around the foot and ankle, down into the lower limb, warming up through the calf muscles that work really hard to push us forward while we're running. That's it. Taking your time, trying to keep your balance, keeping your weight even between both sides, keeping the pelvis level, head up as always. That's it. Let's go for 3 and 2. And on the last one, we'll try and hold it. And then this time, we'll do another set, but we're not going to actually touch the ground this time. So let's lower about 3/4 of the way down. Hold that form and lift back up. So lower 3/4 of the way down and lift. You can really start to feel the calf muscles working hard now as we lower them nice and slowly, getting that lovely eccentric strengthening and push back up again. Slowly down and rebounding right back up. I'm sure you're starting to feel that. Down and up. A really nice way to strengthen those muscles. Let's go. And for 2 more. That's it. And 1 more. Excellent. When you're back down, let's start by bending the right knee, but maintain the level pelvis again, and then swap to the other side. So like you're walking on the spot. One knee bends as the other straightens, one heel lifts as the other lowers. And what we're really working on here is just a little bit of a stretch and a warm up still of all those joints and muscles, but also we're looking at the pelvis again. So if we can keep our pelvis level as we move the legs in this way, similar to the actions when we're running, then everything else is going to stay in really nice alignment. And it's going to mean that we're going to decrease the likelihood of injury. We can never decrease that risk or likelihood 100%. There's always going to be other factors that might cause injury or external forces or factors, but it's going to decrease that likelihood. We can keep really nice alignment and good form. It's also going to help our performance and improve our performance, because if we keep everything level and everything in this lovely alignment, we're going to move forward quicker with better control and better form, as opposed to if we're sort of doing it like this, we're going side to side, which is going to slow us right down. And also promotes this kind of rolling in at the knees, hips and ankles. So nice level pelvis as we do this movement. It's really easy, but we're just focusing on form, getting everything warmed up. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, drop, both feet hold those hips again. Let's come down into a parallel squat and lift back up. So down and up, down and up. Again, as we come down into our sort of mini parallel squat, you're looking to make sure that those hips stay level again, that the knees follow that line, and the same with the ankles. Again, that we're not rolling in or knocking in those knees against each other. That's it. Let's add a little breath here now too to keep it following our Pilates key elements. So we're going to inhale as we drop, bring the hands in front, exhale as you lift. Warming up through the chest, through the rib cage with that breath. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Starting to warm up the rest of the lower limb, working through the knees and thighs now, and hips. Let's go for 2 more. 1 more. And we're going to combine our heel raise with our squats now. So let's come down into our parallel squat, hold it. Keep that lovely alignment as we raise our heels. Up we come onto the balls of our feet and then drop right down. I'm going to show you this one from the side if you've never done it before. Let's go again. Down into our mini parallel squat. Lift the heels. Let's come right up and drop. Let's go for 3 more. Down, lift, lift, and drop. Really challenging our balance here a little more, challenging our core a little bit more, and further waking up through the hips, the knees, the ankles and feet. Go for 1 more. Down and lift, lift, and drop. We're going to go in reverse. This time lift up first, hold it. Now let's see, can we get right down into our squat position, maybe even a little bit deeper now as we warm up. Keeping your balance, drop the heels and raise. So really nice for our calf muscles, working through the soleus muscle here now as well. Getting right down, working on that control, drop and release. Lift, bend the knees, watch that balance and control, heels and drop. Go for 1 more, lift the heels right up. Let's head down into your squat. I'll get myself settled again, all the way down, drop the heels and release. Excellent. Let's take our right leg up towards our chest. Hug it in for a little stretch. If you need to hold on to something, do. Watch your balance here. And single leg balance is really, really important for running. If you think about it, give the legs a little shake out. Every time your foot hits the ground, it's 1 leg that hits the ground, otherwise you're not moving. So single leg control, single leg balance is really, really important for us. Let's shake that out. Let's finish today's warm-up session with some of those exercises we've just talked about. So again, find that nice alignment, legs hip width apart, pelvis is neutral and level. Keep your hands on your hips if you like. Open the chest, lift the head, all the same. And let's lift our right heel off the ground. Keep your pelvis level, remember. And now shift the weight slightly onto that left side as we lift the right foot up and lower down. Just tip your toe off the mat and repeat. Lift and drop. Again, keeping the pelvis level. Hoping that we can maintain the control on that left hip, the left knee, the left ankle. Really working through the core here as well. That's what's helping to keep our pelvis level. Just mimicking some of those actions, some of those movements that we do when we're running. So if you're a little wobbly, that's okay. You might even start to feel this working around the foot and ankle too. So all of these joints on the left lower limb are working. All those muscles that support those joints are working. Last 2. And on the last 1, can you keep that leg up? Hold it. Keep your pelvis level. Let's take our elbows in by our side. Come pointing to the ceiling on both hands. We're going to go for a little movement of the arms here. If you feel you need to touch the mat, that's okay. In between every couple of movements, if you feel very wobbly, touch the mat. Keep the elbows in by your waist. Keep the hands outside your midline. So your midline is at your belly button area. We don't want to cross the arms over like this because similar to the pelvis dipping, that's going to slow you down if you're going across the mid-back. And we're getting just a little bit too much mid-back rotation there. So keep the pelvis level, keep the shoulders open, and the arms don't cross the midline. Let's go for 3, 2, 1. I'm sure you're feeling that. Let's give it a little shake out. Well done. Give that leg a little shake out after that. It's a really good sign if you can feel it working. Let's give those a go on the opposite side. So let's get back into our lovely hip width apart position, our nice pelvic alignment, chest open, head and neck tall. And we're going to hold on to our pelvis as we allow then the left foot to come up and just hover over the mat or touch your toe off the floor and repeat. All the while maintaining this lovely stable pelvis, nice level alignment. We're always about going forward as fast as we can to improve our performance, to help with our form, so we never want to cross our midline with our arms or our legs. Think about your midline, this line going through the center of your forehead, your nose, your breastbone, your belly button. Keep the arms and legs outside that midline for best performance results, so to keep us going forward. Let's go for one more. We're going to lift that leg up. Let's hold it now, keeping the pelvis level, and let's take our arms up and down into that little arm swing. That's it, good, nice level pelvis, not crossing the midline. This is really helpful when you're going up a hill. If you're really tired and fatigued, think about your posture. Think about looking and opening the chest. Think about keeping your pelvis level. Think about using your arms to propel you up that hill, keeping them in by your waist, moving them nice and fast by your side. That's going to help with that momentum to get you up the hill. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Good. Give it a little shake out. And that's our first session of our Pilates warm-up for runners. Go and enjoy your run. Thanks for joining me.